Chargers fans, we're one day closer to that exciting draft day. The anticipation is building, and as Chargers fans, we've got a lot to look forward to. The team really made strides last season, with key picks like Ladd McConkey in the second round and Joe Alt, both of whom are expected to have an immediate impact. But we can't overlook the middle-round picks. The cornerbacks, like Kamani Veal, have a lot of potential, and there's a lot of excitement surrounding this upcoming draft. The Chargers have an incredible opportunity to find some strong players that will help bring Jim Harbaugh's vision to life. Speaking of which, there's been some buzz around Colston Loveland potentially being a first-round pick for the Chargers. Could this be the move? I think it's possible. In today's video, we're going to run through 3 different mock drafts, each with its own unique strategy. It's going to be a fun time. With a draft class full of incredible running back and tight end talent, how will the Chargers approach the upcoming draft? And how will they continue to build Harbaugh's identity for this team in year 2? There's a lot to explore, and before we dive into the mock drafts, I'd really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you're enjoying the content. It really helps the channel out, and it only takes a second. Let's get into it. Lights, camera, action. All right, Chargers fans, we're here for something special. This is mock draft number 3, and we're getting into the heart of draft season. Every year we see everyone doing their mock drafts, and this year is no different. We're diving deep into 3 rounds of mock drafts, and we're going to switch things up each time. But first, check out the new backdrop. It's got a fresh vibe, and I'm really digging it. You'll notice a signed LaDainian Tomlinson helmet, but unfortunately, the light box tends to overexpose it on camera, so we'll keep that off for now. We also have an Antonio Gates jersey to round out the collection. Looking pretty solid, right? It's all part of the new studio setup as we get closer to the draft. Before we kick things off, let's cover the rules for these mock drafts. We're doing 3 different ones, but there are a couple of key rules we're sticking to. We can't select the same player in any of the 3 drafts. We must draft a running back at some point in each draft. The reason for that second rule is simple. This draft class has an exceptional group of running backs, and I truly believe it's a position the Chargers need to address. Some may argue that the team already has Najee Harris and doesn't need another running back, but I disagree. While Najee Harris has the potential to be the team's RB1 for years to come, his 1-year contract makes his future uncertain. It's a great opportunity for him, but the Chargers haven't locked into a long-term commitment just yet. Even if Harris is the guy, this draft class is so deep in running back talent that it's hard to ignore. You can find future starters into the 4th round, and I think the Chargers will want to grab some value from this deep pool. Whether it's a player like Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs at the top, or someone further down the board, there are players who can make an immediate impact. Now, let's dive into the first mock draft. In mock draft A, we're selecting Omarion Hampton, running back from North Carolina, with the 22nd overall pick. This is where the Chargers truly start to solidify their identity as a run-first team. The narrative that began with Greg Roman's hire and Jim Harbaugh's vision comes full circle with Hampton. While it may seem redundant to add another running back when Najee Harris is already on the roster, imagine the potential of a dynamic 1-2 punch. Hampton, with his physicality and versatility, brings exactly what the Chargers need. Standing 6 feet 1 inch and weighing 220 pounds, Hampton is a powerful back who can thrive in any system. He's not just a bruiser, he's also a strong receiver and blocker, making him an incredibly well-rounded prospect. His ability to do everything at a high level means he's a perfect fit for the Chargers. This pick would allow the Chargers to ease Hampton into a supporting role in his rookie year, learning from Harris while potentially becoming the future leader of the backfield. It's a pick that sets up the Chargers for a powerful running game in the years to come, and I wouldn't be surprised if this running back class provides exactly what the team needs to take their offense to the next level. So that's mock draft A. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments which draft you prefer, or if you have any players you'd like to see on the team. let's keep the conversation going and stay tuned for the next 2 mock drafts. It's going to be a fun ride as we get closer to that big day in April. The Chargers are making sure they have all the right pieces to make a run this season, and with Najee Harris as the starting running back, they've got a solid plan in place. However, if they miss out on a top running back, Harris is the contingency plan. He runs exactly how the team wants their backfield to operate. But Omarion Hampton is the future, and his potential brings that identity to the Chargers offense, the one the organization is working to establish under Jim Harbaugh's vision. So, welcome Omarion Hampton to the Chargers with the 22nd pick in the first round. Now, moving on to round 2, I've got the Chargers selecting Mason Taylor, tight end from LSU. I'll be honest, typically, if you're looking at value in a mock draft, you'd see players like Elijah Royo pop up as a potential pick. But I wanted to shake things up a bit. Mason Taylor is a name that's been getting a lot of attention, and if you follow the Chargers podcast with Matt Money Smith, you know that he's high on Taylor's potential. Now, pick 55 might be a little early for some, but don't let that fool you. This pick makes sense for the Chargers, who are in need of a tight end that can be a weapon for Justin Herbert. Taylor has a ton of upside and is just beginning to tap into his potential. While he still has room to grow, especially with his blocking, his size, receiving ability, and sure hands make him an intriguing prospect. If he can develop his blocking, he could easily become one of the best day 2 tight end picks in this draft class. The Chargers have the coaching staff to elevate his game and bring out the best in him. Plus, he's the son of NFL legend Jason Taylor, so he's got the pedigree to back it up. What makes him a great fit for the Chargers? His receiving ability. The team has struggled since losing Keenan Allen to consistently convert on third downs, and Taylor could be the answer. He's great at finding and attacking soft zones in defenses, which is exactly what Justin Herbert needs in his arsenal. With crisp route running, excellent hands, and the ability to find those soft spots in coverage, Taylor could be a key weapon for Herbert, especially when it comes to moving the chains and opening up space for other receivers like Ladd McConkey. It's easy to see why Matt Money Smith is so high on Taylor, and though pick 55 might feel a bit early, it's a pick with tremendous value. Next, in round 3 of Mock Draft A, we're going to the offensive line. Tate Ratliff, a versatile guard from Georgia, is the pick here. With the Chargers needing to improve the interior of their offensive line, Ratliff fits the mold perfectly. Standing at 6 feet 6 inches and 320 pounds, he's a physical presence, and his nastiness on the field would add that grit the Chargers need up front. Whether he lines up as a guard or potentially even a center, Ratliff brings a lot of value. He's a guy that could step in immediately and contribute, with the versatility to play multiple positions along the line. Ratliff's ability to contribute at guard or center adds flexibility to the Chargers' offensive line, and his physicality will help boost the run game. He's not just a developmental player. He could start today, if needed. Plus, he provides strong competition for anyone underperforming, like Zion Johnson or others in the interior line. In round 3, Ratliff is a solid pick that could become a building block for the Chargers' physical football identity. So, that wraps up Mock Draft A. First round, Omarion Hampton. Second round, Mason Taylor. Third round, Tate Ratliff. Now, let's dive into Mock Draft B, where we kick things off with Colston Loveland, the tight end from Michigan. It's hard to do a Chargers mock draft without mentioning Loveland. The connection between Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, and the Chargers' need at tight end makes this pick almost inevitable. Loveland's athleticism and playmaking ability would be a huge asset to the Chargers' offense. Loveland is an exceptional athlete for his size. He's a big, fast target with excellent hands, which is exactly what Justin Herbert needs to help fix the team's issues with dropped passes and inconsistent play at the tight end position. While Will Dissly did a decent job last season, he was more of a blocking tight end forced into receiving duties. Loveland, on the other hand, is a receiving tight end by design, and he has the tools to be a major weapon in the passing game. What excites me about Loveland is his ability to destroy zones. He's fantastic at reading defenses and getting open where defenses are weakest. Perfect for Herbert, who loves to spread the ball around and attack soft zones. Loveland could be the key to improving third down conversion rates and providing an additional threat for the offense. His crisp route running, sure hands, and ability to make plays in the middle of the field would make him a valuable addition to the Chargers, and it's clear why many consider him a top target for the team. Let's start with the first pick in Draft B. With pick 22 in the first round, I'm going with Colston Loveland, tight end from Michigan. This is a guy who's been receiving a lot of attention, and rightfully so. He's an incredible weapon for Justin Herbert. His speed is insane, his catching ability is off the charts, and there's a reason people are starting to compare him to Travis Kelce as we get closer to draft day. Loveland would be a pivotal addition to the Chargers' offense. He has the potential to be a game changer, and his all-around talent would provide Herbert with a reliable weapon that can make an immediate impact. Now, in round 2 at pick 55, we're going offensive again with Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Higgins has steadily climbed up draft boards and is a great option for the Chargers, who need to complement Ladd McConkey and Mike Williams in the receiving game. Higgins is versatile. He can line up at any wide receiver position, whether that's in the slot or outside, and he has the size and skills to be a real weapon for the offense. At 6 feet 4 inches, he's a huge red zone target with excellent hands and route running. I've heard comparisons to T. Higgins, and while they may not be related, they share similar playing styles. He's a physical blocker too, making him a perfect complement to McConkey. Adding someone like Jaden Higgins will give Herbert another option to help improve the offense, which really struggled at times last season. The Chargers' offense needs help, and Higgins could be a great addition to fill that need. Finally, in round 3, following the rule to pick a running back, we're selecting Devin Neal, a running back from Kansas, with pick 86. I had the chance to see Neal live in action when Kansas played BYU, and let me tell you, this guy can play. He wasn't the highest yardage guy that game, but his runs were crucial to Kansas's offense, especially in a win against a tough BYU team. Neal is a smart, vision-based running back who doesn't have blazing speed but can churn out consistent yards. He's an excellent red zone threat and has great receiving skills out of the backfield. His power and vision make him a potential starting running back in the NFL, and the Chargers would be lucky to add him as a complement to Najee Harris. Neal has the qualities needed to thrive behind the Chargers' offensive line and would be a solid pick in round 3. So, Draft B consists of Round 1, Colston Loveland, tight end, Michigan. Round 2, Jaden Higgins, wide receiver, Iowa State. Round 3, Devin Neal, running back, Kansas. Let me know what you think about this draft class in the comments below. Now, moving into Draft C, let's start with James Pierce Jr., an edge rusher out of Tennessee. There were a few other options I considered, like Mike Green, but Pierce really stands out because of his speed and agility. This guy is a lightning bolt on the defensive line. He ran a 4.47 at the Combine, and the next fastest defensive end ran a 4.56. That's serious speed for a guy at his position. Pierce is exactly what the Chargers' defense needs. A pass rusher with insane quickness who can get after the quarterback. His twitchy hands and ability to close the gap quickly make him a real weapon off the edge. Pair him with a guy like Tuli Tuipulotu and have him rotate in with other Chargers defensive linemen, and this could really turn into a dynamic pass rush. It's a bit of a different flavor compared to what we're used to, but that speed is something we can't ignore. Pierce could provide a unique dimension to this defensive front and offer plenty of value at pick 22 in the first round. In round 2, at pick 55, we're going with another running back. There's a lot of talent at the position in this draft, and it feels like the Chargers could really make a splash here. One of my favorite running back options is Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State. This is a powerful running back. He's 6 feet tall and 220 pounds with excellent vision and an ability to attack the line with power. He's consistent, patient, and plays with the kind of intensity that would fit well in the Chargers' offense. He might be a bit redundant to what we already have with Najee Harris, but Judkins is the future of the running back position, and his skill set would add another level of depth to the offense. If he falls to pick 55, I think the Chargers should strongly consider grabbing him as a long-term solution at the running back position. In terms of Quinshon Judkins, what I said about Devin Neal definitely applies here too, but I'd argue Judkins brings an even higher level of explosiveness and balance. He is, without a doubt, one of the top running backs in this draft class. If he were in last year's draft, or even the one before, you could easily see him going in the late first round or early second round. He brings that same type of dual threat value that the Lions have utilized with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs over the past couple of seasons. Judkins is that kind of player who could be a perfect complement to what the Chargers want to do now and in the future. His explosiveness, balance, and overall talent make him an instant threat, and he's never fumbled, which speaks volumes about his ball security. Not only that, but he's a great blocker and a solid receiver. At pick 55, he could very well be the best player available for the Chargers, and if he's still on the board, I'd be rushing to submit that pick. He would be an incredible asset for the future of the franchise, running behind an offensive line with guys like Joe Alt and Mekhi Becton. It would be a nasty combination, and I think it would result in one of the most powerful running back tandems in the league. Now, moving on to Draft C, in round 3, at pick 86, I'm selecting Terrence Ferguson, tight end out of Oregon. This is the range where I'd start looking at guys like Harold Fannin or other tight ends, but I think Ferguson provides great value here in the third round. He has the potential to be one of those players who, if available at this spot, the Chargers won't let slide any further. Ferguson brings athleticism and speed to the tight end position, something the Chargers could really use. He ran the fastest 40-yard dash among tight ends at the Combine, clocking in at 4.63 seconds, which is extremely impressive. He has the physicality to break tackles and the speed to turn plays into big gains. Not only that, but he's a solid route runner with great hands and after-the-catch ability. If you're looking for a difference maker at tight end, Ferguson is a great option. He could develop into the tight end of the future for the Chargers, building up behind Tyler Conklin for the season, and eventually stepping into that #1 tight end role. With Justin Herbert's connection to Oregon, it would make perfect sense for them to bring in a guy like Ferguson to be a dynamic weapon in the passing game. So, Draft C consists of Round 1, James Pierce Jr., Edge, Tennessee. Round 2, Quinshon Judkins, running back, Ohio State. Round 3, Terrence Ferguson, tight end, Oregon. I have to say, Draft C really provides some great value. James Pierce at pick 22 is an exciting edge rusher, and Quinshon Judkins in the second round is a steal if he's available. Ferguson in the third round would be an excellent pick for the future of the tight end position. On the other hand, Draft B is loaded with Chargers fan favorites. Colston Loveland, Jaden Higgins, and Devin Neal are all players that fans have been talking about a lot, and they fit well with the team's needs. Loveland is a dynamic tight end who could be a major weapon. Higgins addresses the wide receiver depth, and Neal is a solid running back who could thrive in this system. Finally, Draft A brings Omarion Hampton, a big-time playmaker who could be the future of the franchise alongside Justin Herbert, and Mason Taylor, a tight end with upside, as well as Tate Rage, an offensive lineman who could bring the nastiness and toughness needed to help the Chargers' running game. So, let me know in the comments below which draft you prefer, A, B, or C, and how you would change things up if you could. I'm really excited to see what you all think about these picks. Also, if you have any prospects you want me to look into, drop them in the comments. I'm getting pretty deep into rounds 3 and 4 now, so I'm on the lookout for some of those value picks between rounds 4 and 7. Thank you so much for joining me today. This has been The Director. As always, bolt up, stay frosty, and just imagine with me for a second, the Chargers getting a guy like Quinshon Judkins in the second round. That would be something special.